Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you're listening to me, um, within the world, within the globe. My name is Augustine, and I'm also known as the Simple Consultant, but you could call me Augustine. Now, um, I'm broadcasting live from Nigeria, and the title of my broadcast for today is The Mars Adoption Team Happily Building the Kringle Private Society. Now, yesterday I made a broadcast. I made would I say an unofficial broadcast, and my broadcast I'm going to re-summarize what I said yesterday and then add up a little thing and then call it quit for today. Now my broadcast talked about the meeting that we had yesterday, and the meeting talked about we just concluded with the admin, and a number of things has been put into place to see that the Kringle Private Societies achieves its goal of 1 billion before the end of the year. Now, when we talk about getting to a billion before the end of the year, a good number of people think that it is far-fetched, but it's not far-fetched. And for things to be achieved, strategies has to be put into place. For wars to be fought and conquered, things has to be put into place. Now, it is the responsibilities of these mass adoption team members to ensure that the community grows and gets to a point where everyone in the world knows what TBC is about. Now, the system that has been designed by the administration is a well programmed and arranged system. Now, when we talk about a system, we're talking about the mass adoption team. Now, those of you who have been conversant with the blog, the administration said that those who will be joining the mass adoption team are supposed to be people who has a holistic understanding about the Kringle Private Society. It is not for young men who are still growing and still getting to understand what TBC is about. Now, we are not talking about novices, who just came in. No, young men are people who has not gotten matured level of reasoning. Now, you could be a novice, and then when you're under the mentorship of someone who is well informed, and you are able to submit yourself before this person, I tell you, you are going to make sure that you'll be part of it in this mass adoption team. So young men are people who hasn't grown to the point of a wholesome grasp of what the Kringle Private Society is about. Now, a quick recap. The Kringle Private Society is about we as ordinary young men and ordinary young women, or as old men and as old women from within the world, those from South Africa, those from Dubai, those from the United States, those are from Africa, from Nigeria, and the rest. These are the people who will come together to make sure that TBC has become a global medium of exchange across the world. Now, these people are growing by the day from 1,000 to 2,000 to 5,000, and we are growing into a billion. Now, our goal is simple: eradicating poverty on a global scale. This is what Kringles is about. When you sit down and look at the current financial system, you'll come to understand that there are so many things that are questionable in this current financial system, which is a fiat based system. For those of us who may not know, but I think a good number of us should know. But now, for the avoidance of doubt, the fiat-based system is a system where the government sit down and they make an agreement that our community or our country, yes, a community are a group of people that are locally bound by some laws, and they have agreed upon those laws. That is how countries like the United States, countries like Nigeria, and the rest are existing. Now, if you are not bound by those laws, that means you are not under that their jurisdiction. Now, as long as you have agreed to work by their laws and you have also agreed to work by their financial system, that means you are also what within that community. Now, back to what I was saying, a government which are the ruling party, the group of people state that we have agreed that this currency will be used within our jurisdiction. And then as long as we are using this currency, people can buy, people can sell, people can do a number of things. Now, this currency in previous times had an intrinsic value. This currency in previous time was pegged to the value of gold. But you see, things has changed. Now, some time ago, a particular president, Richard Nixon, he removed the gold backing after a number of things had already happened. I think that was shortly after the World War II. Now, since then, fiat currency has been on a floating level, meaning it had no intrinsic value. That clearly meant that governments could continue to print out as much money as they wanted. Come to think of it, when you're talking about this currency, you're talking about ordinary paper that they have metamorphosed and then giving it some signs so that you would know that this is different from the other, meaning that the original currency, which is fiat based, which has no intrinsic value, is different from another paper which looks similar, but some things differentiate the original from the fake. But then when you look at it on a critical note, it is an agreement based system, because the people that are within that community or within that country, they have been programmed to accept this as a medium of exchange, and they have accepted it. But coming to think of it, everything that has a cause also has a what? Consequence. Now, the cause was what? They decided to come together and they removed the gold backing. And that system also brought about the introduction of central banks. Before central banks came into existence, systems had fought, individuals had fought, a group of people had fought, because they understood that the consequence of central bank will be a ripple effect that would continue to widen the gap between the rich and the poor. A good number of us may not have known this, but do make your own research to find out more. Now, the reason why I am here to make a broadcast is to tell us that we are now moving away from this system and we're building a completely brand new financial system from the scratch. And then a number of people are like, oh, how possible will this be? Well, come to think of it, we are about 3 million now. Yes, we've been growing for about 3 years, but I can liken our system to be like that of a Chinese bamboo tree. The Chinese bamboo tree stays on the ground for about 4 years. I think 4 good years, the Chinese bamboo tree remains on the ground. You continue to water it. You continue to give it all the possible nutrients for 4 good years. Now, any normal thinking human being will say, well, one or two things has caused that particular tree to go down or to die. It would need consistency, perseverance, and then discipline to ensure that that tree will sprout. Once it sprouts, within the next 6 months, the tree grows so fast to the point where all the trees within the forest will be no match in size, will be no match in height to the Chinese bamboo tree. And the Chinese bamboo tree is very resilient, meaning you can turn it 180 degree, it will not break. You can turn it a whole 180 degree. I'm making a facial demonstration, or I'm making a hand demonstration. You see how I turned it? Now, that is what the Chinese bamboo tree is capable of doing. Now, our system can be replicated to be something similar. Our system is going to stand the test of time. Now, let me burst your bubbles. Some of you may not know. We are the new financial system. The current financial system will still be existing. That doesn't mean it wouldn't be existing. But when you bring about a system that is based on abundance and compare it to a system that is based on scarcity, what will happen over time? It is simple. As our community continues to grow and appreciate in numbers, as it continues to grow and appreciate in size, what will happen is that there will be abundance that will slowly begin to wave into the world through the Kringle Private Society. Now you are employed. How much are they paying you? Let's make use of the global currency, dollars. Now you may be employed and they are paying you $50. They are paying you $50 possibly in 2 weeks, and then in a month they are paying you $100. Now in the private community, Kringle Private Society, if you are being employed on that same level, they will be paying you $500, meaning that in 2 weeks they pay you $250, and then in a month they pay you $500. Now, when you come to think about it, and you say this place they give me $100, the other place they give me $500. If you are if you are if you are rational in reasoning, where do you think you are going for? Of course, a huge number of people, if not everyone, will slowly drift away from the fiat-based system and they'll move into a purely digital currency system, which is what the Kringle Private Society. It is not the coin market cap. So many of us are thinking that the coin market cap has what it takes to what thrive and to succeed over time. Picture a time when we have grown to about 20 million. Picture a time when we have grown into 50 million. Picture a time when we've grown into 100 million. And then economy has begun within the Kringle Private Society. There are a number of merchants who are buying and who are selling goods and services. And people are engaging in transactions using this Kringle Private Society. Do you think the coin market cap will be able to have the strength to be able to stand or withstand the Kringle Private Society? We are not infringing upon their rights. We are a separate system and we are lawfully backed. Some people still do not understand the difference between lawful backing and legal backing. Anything that has to do with legality, check your dictionary. Legality has to associate itself with the government. That is the reason why using facial recognition in our Kringle Private Society is most qualified and authenticated by the administration. It clearly means that you as an individual, you can only make use of your face because there is no two people on earth that would have your face. Even as a twin, there are some slight differences between a twin A and a twin B. You may think that's a joke, but you would see that in the Kringle Private Society, there are going to be twins who are going to also use facial recognition, and there will be a slight difference, and the thing would absorb them. Meaning that if team twin A goes to his counterpart's account to use his face, you will find out that it will tell you an error. Now that's what the technology has brought about. So what am I actually driving at? Our system is lawfully backed up compared to a legal backing. A legal backing is why a currency will be printed out of thin air. And when it is printed out of thin air, that is, there is a bond between the central banking system, which is the Federal Reserve. I'm using the United States as a precise instance. When the government needs funds, they go to the United States, which is the Federal Reserve, and then they ask that, please, we need a certain amount of money. And then they go into commitments between the Federal Reserve and themselves as the bank, telling them that I owe you, and then we are going to lend a certain amount of millions, billions, trillions from you. And then over a period of time, we're going to pay back. How are they going to pay back? They're going to tax their citizens from the daily activities that their citizens are doing, and they will pay. That's exactly how the system is built. Now, you will find out that it may be wholly impossible for the citizens to be able to pay back the amount that the governments are owing. That's why the governments will always go back anytime they feel like to lend money from the Federal Reserve or lend money from the world banks. All these people are the same cartel. They're the same banking cartel. Like we have the whole health cartel. The health cartels are the people who will provide or produce drugs like HIV, will produce diseases like HIV, diseases like gonorrhea, incurable disease. And when they produce these diseases, they will make sure that they also provide not cures, but retroviral drugs so that over time, the person infected would never be cured, but will continue to depend on those drugs for the rest of his or her life. Now, there are so many kinds of cartels that has flooded the system, all built by the elites to make sure that humanity is enslaved. Now, the first move that the Kringle Private Society will achieve is to ensure that poverty is what? Purely eradicated. Once human being has been able to lift themselves out of poverty, the next level is for them to go forward and then possess their possession, go forward to regain their birthright. Everything that the elites has done to humanity, it is now going to be turned around. But it wouldn't be done overnight. As at now, the concern of the Kringle Private Society is what? To grow the TBC community, to create awareness. What the broadcasters are doing is what? Creating awareness. In the Kringle Private Society, the responsibility of the administration is very simple. Make sure that the system is ready for mass adoption. What are the steps now that have been taken to make sure that it is what? Ready for mass adoption? Step number one, we have finished some upgrades in the Kringle Private Society. That doesn't mean, I'm talking of the Kringle Cash. That doesn't mean that that is the end. There are still a number of modifications that are still currently taking place underground. In a short while, it shall be completed. Once it has been completed, it shall now be put into implementation. You would notice it in the Kringle Cash. It is a continuous process. The second thing that will be taking place is that very soon you are going to get the information. Our TBC 009 will be upgraded. As at now, one Kringle coin is about $11. $11 is a large amount of money for some of us here in Africa. We may not be able to use it to engage in micro transactions. Therefore, the system is going to be expanded to accommodate mini Kringles. Mini Kringles are going to be smaller fractions of Kringles. Now, after mini Kringles, there will also be micro Kringles, which are smaller fractions of mini Kringles, and there will also be nano Kringles. Now, these fractions are going to be so small so that wherever you are within the world, you can be able to engage in micro or mini transactions. And then the currency or the wallet, which will be put in very soon, is going to have all the currencies in the world. Are you from USA? Of course, it will be in dollars. Are you in the United Kingdom? It will be in euros. Are you in China? It will be in yens. Are you in South Africa? It will be in rands. Are you in Ghana? It will be in cedi. Are you in Nigeria? It will be in naira. Every currency within the world will be encapsulated into the wallet, so that wherever you are, wherever you travel to, it will be easy for you to interface with merchants that are there. But then, for this to happen, there must be proper organization in the Kringle Private Society. Now, as soon as these steps has been completed, the next thing that will be done is for the merchants to be trained. Yesterday, when we had interactions with the administration, there were a number of things that he made us to understand. The system is going to be like those who are running for a professional course, or those who are running for a PhD course. It's going to be a very organized system. And those who are going to have access to this kind of information are only those in the mass adoption team. Everyone in the Kringle Private Society are all numbered. Team A are numbered, Team B are numbered, Team C will also be numbered, Team D will also be numbered. Now, it is a system based on meritocracy. What does meritocracy mean? Simple. Meritocracy means you are rewarded based on the efforts you put into the Kringle Private Society. Some people in the Kringle Private Society has up to 20,000 coins, but you will find out that they are not in Team A. They say that they already have coins. Since they have coins, they don't care that the administration should do whatever he wants since he cannot collect my coins. That's the mindset they have. But understand that we are still in a temporary system. We have not moved into our final system. We are going to be moving into our final system when we have built a solid blockchain wallet. This thing is going to be put into place very, very soon. It will take a period of about 3 months for this wallet to be completed. The administration is seriously working that will be able to house the rest of us community members into a billion. Now, the question that I would tell you, so the question that you ask is, after all, I already have my coins. Am I not going to enjoy it when I get there? No, you are not going to enjoy it. Everybody is numbered. Those are the mass adoption team who are 111,111. They have an access to 2,000 TBC coins maximum using Kringle reward system. Now, those that are in Team B would have an access of 500 TBC coins using Kringle reward system. Now, the blogs are already there. If you need my attention to those blogs, call me on a personal note. Call my attention using Facebook Messenger. If you have my email address, it is there. You can always contact me. Check my previous videos. You will see my email address. You will see my contacts. You will see my phone numbers. You will see the rest. You could contact me if you want to find out these blogs. Now, you will also find out that those in Team C, they will also have a limited amount of Kringle coins. Please, the TBC coins end in only Team A and Team B. If you are in Team A, you are already the banks of the system. You are going to be the ones to create liquidity for the system when we get into economic phase. Team B are going to be the backup. Team C are going to be those who are going to be meeting the Team A people in case they run out of funds. Same thing applies to Team D, same thing applies to Team E. So what am I actually concluding upon? I am actually saying if you are in this community, you should be awake to what is actually coming up. By the 1st of May, we are going to begin the rotator program. The rotator program is going to be an excellent program. Let me explain a little. In this rotator program, the administration says 10% of the funds that are being given to him as the administration, he is going to redistribute it to the active members who are paying their admin fee. As at now, the total numbers who are paying the admin fee are about 14,000. Now, 14,000 are the numbers that are currently what's paying the admin fee. Shortly, it would appreciate from 14,000 towards 50,000, from 50,000 to 100,000, and from 100,000 we complete our numbers. Now, you may think it is far-fetched. So many people are saying it's going to take a while, but I tell you, once the rotator program begins, then it will begin to grow. From a little amount, it would appreciate, and then between the time we get to 1 million towards 10 million active members, you would find out that responsibilities now will now be shouldered upon the mass adoption team. Then their responsibility then will be to go out and bring in merchants to the community. By the time they've brought in a reasonable number of merchants, there will be liquidity. Because if you have read the Kringle cash, the administration said it is merchants who are going to create that liquidity. The system is going to also put things into place this particular year to make sure that it will be easy for merchants to come in, and it will behoove upon you, if you are a mass adoption team member, to make sure that you do your own part. Now, the community is going to only expand through merchants. Those merchants will cut across the medical sector. The merchants are going to cut across the mechanical systems, engineering sectors. It is going to cut about across every sectors of life. It depends on your own jurisdiction. It depends on your own field of study. If you are a civil servant, your responsibility is to meet your fellow civil servants and make them use it. If you're a lawyer, if you're a doctor, whatever you are, you must have a first good understanding about what we intend doing to eradicate poverty. And how do we intend eradicating poverty? Simple. Slipping power slowly out of the powers that be into the powers that has been oppressed over the previous years. It is as simple as that. And our system is going to have room for abundance. Our system will have room for growth. Our system will change how the world does things. This is a simple thing that we are going to achieve, and we're going to do it one step at a time. I'm going to stop here for now. I know that I haven't been regular in my broadcast. That is the reason why a good number of people are not present now in my broadcast. But consequently, I would, as much as possible, keep up with my broadcast, which is going to be Mondays, Fridays, Wednesdays. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday. I'll stop here for today. So for those of you who are not yet community members and you are interested in being a community member, you want further enlightenment, you could call my attention. My details are always there. I would always be of help. So this particular broadcast will be in the Facebook rally group for those of us who would need attention, cutting across every sector of life, from Nigeria, from South Africa, from anywhere, from the UK. We are not playing out racism. We're a community united with love and with respect. So it doesn't matter your location, it doesn't matter whatsoever. As long as you hear English and you speak English, I can be of help. There are a number of leaders that are out there also that can be of help. So I will stop here. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Augustine, and I shall continue again most likely before the week runs out, possibly tomorrow or Friday. We'll be having a meeting with the administration this morning. We do have meetings every day, Mondays through to what? Sundays. I hope we shall be there in today's meeting. Thank you very much. To have a wonderful day. Cheers and God bless you. Bye for now.